Oh, hey, welcome back. I'm just out here getting lit in the shop today. We'll get to this in a minute. It's a Talk About It Tuesday, and today we're going to talk about setting realistic expectations when it comes to fabricating. This is going to be a fun one. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop. I'm going to continue getting lit. Don't go away. We've had a little situation here in the shop when Chris was here, and we were working on the Cincinnati, and one of the ballasts burned out on a light. Oh, that's bright. And it was an 8-foot fluorescent light, and we took that light down. It took us a long time. We thought the shop was burning down, stuff. We're working on electrical, so we were nervous. Finally figured out it was a ballast. Anyway, so we lights out of here now. We replaced it with the LED that was in the Challenger, and my nephew gave me about 6 or 8 of these LED lights that needed work. I've tested all of them, and I think they've got a bad capacitor on the board. These are 12-volt LEDs that plug into 110, so they have a little inverter inside or transformer, and they're putting out 12 volts, but they won't light the LEDs, and I'm pretty sure it just doesn't have the amperage to make it go. But anyway, these two we got working. So I'm going to put one of these up in the warehouse, and the other one's going to go in the Challenger. But that's not why you're here. Today we're talking about realistic expectations of fabrication. So let's go back and visit some subjects that we've talked about before to kind of lay the groundwork about where we're going with this. If you've been around the channel at all, you've heard me talk about stitches ad nauseum, and it's probably the most featured project here on the channel. It was intentionally chosen to be a fabrication project to fabricate the majority of the stuff that we did on this car. It was rotted from firewall to back bumper. There was no floor, blah, 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 blah. We've done about 80% of that with hand fabrication, some of it with using old parts. Now, context is everything, and as you've heard me say before, contexts are not just the text messages you get from your relatives in prison. On a 318 car that came out of a junkyard pile with a roof that was crushed down from a car sitting on top, smashed up from forklifts, all that stuff that happened to this car. This was a great candidate because it's a desirable muscle car. But at the end of the day, there's really not going to be much resale value between the way I'm building this and if we had gone out and spent the $5,000 or $7,000 or whatever it was going to be for all the materials to fabricate all of this stuff. But expectations are everything, right? So we've got to lay out some expectations. What are your expectations? Are you expecting something to be perfect, just like you purchased every part, just like it was all factory bought, just like etc.? Or are you happy to make some compromises here and there for the sake of getting a project done? It's certainly not that you can't fabricate something to the point of it being what we would call carriage built and so perfect that nobody could tell that it was handmade. I've demonstrated that here before. I certainly can do that work. Would I do that work on this car? What for? It doesn't even make any sense to do that work on this car, especially on things like these floor pans that are going to be covered up and you're not going to see anyway. So the philosophy is, in the context of the car, as long as you're making it safe, you're making it done, then go have fun. That's all that matters. We've said that ad nauseum. They're not perfect, but they look respectable. They resemble factory. Yes, we could have done really beautiful cut and butt work like we did somewhere down in here. I can't even remember where we did it now because it turned out so good, you can't tell. But what's the point in any of that when you're going to cover it all up with sound deadening and a floor pan? Now, let's go look at something else. A while ago, I had somebody make a comment on the quarter panel on this car and just give me crap for, oh my God, that's horrible work, and you're worried about a little dent and blah, 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 blah. Go away. Just go away. Again, the context. First of all, on a car like this, it's not a big dollar car. So I'm using a cheap crap Sherman panel. I didn't cut and butt it on purpose so that it was pretty much seamless and flawless because I wanted the overlap strength of it being welded on both sides so that it adds strength and rigidity to the car that's a unibody. If I was doing a big dollar car, we would have got the complete quarter panel that goes up to here and this wouldn't be there. But those cost $400 or $500 and this piece cost me $125. So can I live with some stuff that has a little skim of tiger hair there? Absolutely. That was the choice that I made. It's not a big dollar car. Setting your expectations on the end product and the end result will help you determine the path from start to end. If you're okay with having some seam sealer and some joints that are seen and seen as in before the body work, all that stuff, you can save yourself thousands of hours and thousands of dollars for a car that's not going to be worth big money. If it was a Hemi, Cuda, blah, 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 7-figure car, of course I wouldn't be doing it this way. I'm not dumb. And that's the thing you're going to have to deal with is manage and meet your own and manage your own expectations and just ignore the haters. Now, we've talked about that plenty of times before, but there's a lot of new subscribers here who are interested in the fabrication side of what we do here in the shop. And that's all I want to say today is manage your own expectations. What is the outcome that you're expecting? What do you hope to accomplish? What do you hope it's like? Think about the end value of the car to some degree, and will it make a difference if a quarter panel is seamed here or at the top? Probably not if you do the job right. Again, everything I do has a reason, and I'm comfortable with it, but sometimes I get blindsided by stuff that people say on YouTube going, really? Really? And it doesn't bother me, so don't think that it bothers me and I get myself upset about it, because I couldn't care less. I've learned a long time ago that the ones who are coming at you like that generally aren't doing anything at all, maybe spending money on cars, but they're not building anything themselves because they don't know how. The reality is anybody that's doing better than you in life is not going to criticize you for what you're doing. That's a fact. That has held true my entire life. It's only the wannabes, it's only the keyboard warriors who come across tromping around with their boots and their spurs. Now, that wasn't the point of this. Get down off my pulpit here. I think because we've been misled by so much of the car programs that have been on mainstream, I think we can be misled by so many of the car programs that are even on YouTube because they don't show everything. They don't show the painstaking steps of getting things done. They don't show that, hey, that didn't turn out perfect. They don't show that maybe they did some lead in a joint that turned out good, so it looks like it's all metal and flawless, but it's not. I know for a fact that happens. They didn't show the fact that maybe they cut it out and re-weld it 5 times before they finally got it right, or maybe even had to buy another panel. All that stuff happens. And the one thing that I strive to do is be transparent and give you a realistic view and realistic expectations of, if you're going to fabricate, it can be anywhere that you want it to be. If you want to carriage build it, make it all perfectly flawless, like it's a $1 million Ferrari or Lamborghini, you can do it. Even as a fabricator, you can do it. It's going to take time, it's going to take skill, and it's probably going to take better tools than I have. But if you're willing to find those sweet spots of this is good enough, not as a compromise on excellence, but to say it doesn't have to be perfect. Do you know that perfection is the enemy of accomplishment? It's just a fact. So those are my thoughts today for a Talk About It Tuesday. I'm going to take the other light upstairs and get it hung in the warehouse so that we have some light up there. And we'll be back. Next episode will be hands-on, I promise. Don't forget, it's important.